Let me tell you something to all the Satanists out there who's going to be watching this video, and I hope you do. Answer this one question for me. Do you know the remedy for stealing and robbery? Do you know how to stop robbery and stealing? It is content. People who are content with what they have, they don't go steal other people's belongings. So, we just prove that Satan indeed is evil, because when God is trying to teach these children to be content with what they have, Satan is like, no, 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 no. That thing called content, no, despise that. You need to be stealing from God. Guys, welcome back to this channel. Thank you for watching the video. Today's topic, we're gonna talk about, I'm gonna continue with that topic that I made on the Satanist, how to respond to Satanist who does not understand the Bible and what the Bible actually is saying, and how Satan twists God's intention and make it look like God is a tyrannical God. So don't forget, if you are new to this channel, subscribe to the channel, and of course like the video and ring the bell. And if you're a new subscriber, you can put it on the comment below that says new subscriber. And if you have questions, if there's something you don't understand, then you can of course put it on the comment, and I'll do my best to make a video about it. Now, I'm gonna look at only the part where the Satanists are quoting the Bible or trying to misrepresent God's character, and I'm going to respond to that part. So without further ado,
I believe Satan is evil. Wait, why did you stop?
I was trying to play it out in my head, but then I realized I don't agree with that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, the fact that there is a Satan who is real, and the fact that he is evil is, I mean, it's an important, pretty central belief that we hold in the Christian faith, and that there is a good and loving God and a Satan who is evil.
So let's go back to Genesis, okay? God wanted to keep humans from eating the fruit of knowledge, correct?
so now she is going to the Bible, which is exactly where I want her to go, because then I can actually respond to her claim. Let's listen to what she has to say.
And Satan, or the serpent, wanted to give humans that knowledge. I believe that's a good action.
That is a good action.
That's a good action. That's justifiable.
The first person to advocate for equal rights.
Yes. We only heard God's perspective, and from my perspective, I mean, just looking into the Bible, it's like we didn't hear Satan's perspective. Maybe he said, God is a tyrannical God, and I'm going to rebel from him, and I'm going to become a fallen angel to help mankind.
My interpretation and understanding of that story is that God created an environment where and it was an environment of love and peace, and where his children that he created and who he loved, who he created in his image would...
They were naked and they didn't have understanding.
Yeah, and that this was an environment for them to...
Wait, we gotta hear his whole point.
To flourish. And so he puts them in this environment, and he desires for them to flourish and to live in unashamed relationship with him and his perfection and his glory.
Naked
and
stupid.
I see God making simple playthings because he's bored, if it's real then, and then saying, don't do this because I don't want you on my level, and if you do, I have to make sure you can't live forever so you really don't get on my level.
Would you think that if you heard that one of your friends was having a baby and you'd say, oh, you're just making a plaything for your...
That's
Depending on
different.
their
That's
intention
different.
of having the baby,
but
There are
possibly,
some
yeah.
parents who
There
use
are,
their kids as
Yeah.
their playthings.
Yeah.
But that's how I see the same generative love that out of which God created us.
I think for
All right. So I think you guys heard enough of the part of the story. So now let's go to the Bible and let's actually dive in to understand what is really going on. Let's get in there. So Genesis chapter 3. No, chapter 2 first. So we have in Genesis chapter 2, we got God created the seventh day, which is the Sabbath, now called Saturday. And then we have creation of man, basically. So what happens is the Bible repeats itself to give you more details on the creation of man. That happens all the time. And then we have God created the Garden of Eden from verse 8 to verse 14. Now the forbidden fruit. So let's read the forbidden fruit together. And the Lord God took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it, meaning to flourish it and all that. And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that thou eatest thereof thou shalt surely die. Let's move on. Then we have Adam names the animals, creation of the woman, and that become his wife later on. Chapter 3. Chapter 3. Now we have the serpent's deception. So, remember that girl, she said, we never heard of Satan's part. We only had God's point of view, but not the devil's point of view. So, and she said, I think the devil was thinking, well, maybe Satan was like, God is a tyrannical God, and so I'm going to decide to be a fallen angel so I can go in and help humankind. Okay. Let's say that God is actually tyrannical. So we're going to do that in mathematics. We call that proof by contradiction or proof by induction. So we're going to start with, proof by contradiction. So we're going to start with a false theory or a false theorem and prove that the theorem actually that we thought it is false. So if the end of the proof that the theorem actually is false, then it is true. So if I say God is evil and then I prove that what God did was actually not evil, then God is actually not evil. So if it becomes false at the end, that means God is actually not evil. So we're going to do that kind of proof to show her how her thinking is messed up by Satan. And that is not the reality that it is about. Let's keep on moving. So, the serpent's deception. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden. Alright? But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die, for God doth know that in the day that you eat of it thereof, then your eyes will be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, which is the lust of the eye, right? And that it was pleasant to the eyes. Oh, no, it was the lust of the flesh, which is the food, and it was pleasant to the eyes, the lust of the eye, and it was and the tree to be desired to make one wise, and the pride of life. She took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. And the eyes of both of them were opened, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. So, you see what I just got now? As I'm showing you right now, that the moment Satan told her, actually, if you eat the fruit, you will be as gods, knowing good and evil. Meaning your eyes going to be open. So right now you are blinded. And now she's like, wait a minute. So you mean to tell me, oh, so this tree is good for food, lust of the flesh. So now she's lusting after something she shouldn't be lusting after. And that it was good for the eye, the lust of the eyes. Now her eyes is now, oh, wait a minute. God is basically a tyrannical God, and he is an evil God for leaving such a good thing from us. And it was desired to make one wise. People that are wise, many times they become proud people. So right here, Satan introduced his three daughters: lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. I don't think she understood that part yet. The Satanist that we saw. Where is he? Yes, this girl on the left. I don't think she understood that part yet. The three daughters of Satan, right there: lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. So, now, let's get into the real part. Let's go back to Genesis chapter 2. Because I wanted to know, why would God tell Adam and Eve not to eat of it? So, here's the thing. Verse number 16. Of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, the Lord commanded the man, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that thou eatest thereof thou shalt surely die. So I'm gonna start like this. Maybe God didn't need, for sure God didn't have to explain to them all the reasons why it is not good to eat of the fruit of good and evil, of the knowledge of good and evil. Why? Because the moment you have an understanding of evil, you may actually go that path. You see, the moment people know what evil is, they are, and think about it, it is easier to do evil to do good than to do good. If you want your business to grow faster, it is easier to lie to people, to boycott people, so your business can go faster, than to be honest and just in what you are doing. Tell me if that is not true. It is easier for people not to study hard and go take a test and try to cheat than to do the right thing. You see, you have to understand, when you only know how to do good, then you're gonna just do good. But the moment you have a knowledge of evil, and you can see, and everyone can see, evil is so much easier to do, because you get that quick result right now, but in the long run, it bites you back. You see, people think it is a good thing to be sleeping around. Now, I'm not saying that's evil, but that's bad. Why? Because you get that adrenaline rush in the moment. You get that, that excitement. But when you keep doing that in the long run, what happens? Eventually, you either get a person pregnant, and then now you got problems in your life, or you get disease. You see, it is easier to actually cheat on your husband, cheat on your wife, because at the moment it feels good, but in the future you might get shot. So what Satan does is he makes you think of the moment, not in the future. And God is thinking, okay, I want you to think in the long run. Do you want to be happy or miserable? Now, let me tell you what, again, God is trying to teach his children here. And this, I want you to think about it. I'm going to give you an example. Remember, we were trying to prove that God is evil, right? For doing what he did. Because she said, maybe Satan was thinking, God is a tyrannical God, and I'm going to become a fallen angel. So she knows that Satan is actually a fallen angel. I mean, Satan is evil. So she already told us that Satan is evil. Right? So you're going to prove that God is a tyrannical God or evil God for telling Adam and Eve not to eat of the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. So let's see if that actually is true. So we're going to prove that with contradiction to show that God is actually not evil. Let's think about this one. Let's say you have a kid, and you tell your kid as you go into work, you say, hey, so I left food for you guys, for you. You got food in the fridge, in the kitchen, on the table, and I also ordered some, let's say, what's a good thing you can order? Let's say you ordered some Indian food, some rice and curry, and say, okay, so you got enough food for the day, so when I come back home, you shouldn't be hungry. But I have that red bowl that has a cupcake in it. Do not touch it. Now, has any parents ever done that? And I can promise you, most parents have done that once in their life. Tell their kids, you can have all of that, but I have left a red bowl, that has a cupcake in it. Do not touch it, because that's mine. And if you touch it, I'm going to have to spank you when I come back. And you say, okay, I'm not going to touch it. I'm just going to eat of everything else. Now, let's say I come and I say, actually, you know what? Your mom, man, she's a tyrannical mom. You see, what should I do? She's trying to keep you from eating the best thing ever, because that cupcake, man, it is so good. Because if you eat it, you will never regret eating it. So go ahead and disobey your mother's order. You know, now, would the mother be evil for saying that to her son or her daughter? No. Let me put it better for you. What is it that I'm actually telling the child to do? It is not just disobedience. That's not just disobedience. What I'm also teaching the child to do is something called, no, it is something that we called stealing. Stealing. You see, the moment you take something that is not yours, that was not given to you, it is stealing. You are teaching the child to steal. So in a sense, when Satan in chapter 3, when Satan came to this as a serpent, in the form of the serpent, or talked to use the serpent as a medium, and said to Eve that actually no, God knows that the day you eat, you're gonna be like God, knowing good and evil. So go ahead and eat it. Basically, Satan is telling Eve, you can steal from God. It's okay. God is not gonna really kill you. You're not gonna really die. You see, the lie is you will not surely die. So Satan always put a little truth and mix it with a lie. You will not surely die, but you're gonna be like God, knowing good and evil. But then what happens when you know good and evil? What do? You always tend to go to the evil side than the good side. So Satan is basically telling Eve, go ahead and steal from God, but because you're not gonna die, God is a liar. Whatever God said to you is a lie. So based on that, who do you think, was God evil or was Satan evil? We're not done yet. The next thing that God was trying to teach Adam and Eve, I'm gonna tell you, it's one word: content. Let's go back over there. I'm gonna show you something. What is the definition of content? Well, content. What is it? It is a state of peaceful happiness. All right, satisfied, pleased, gratified, fulfilled, happy, cheerful. So you are in a state where you are happy with what you have. So God is trying to teach Adam and Eve the notion or the principle that is called contentment. Be content with what you have. And most parents, when they tell their children, okay, I want you to not eat this one thing, but you can eat anything else, they are not evil for teaching their kids to be content. So now, back to her problem, when that girl said, well, maybe Satan was like, God is a tyrannical God for not allowing them to eat the fruit. So now, is it evil that parents want to teach their children to be content with what they have? Is it evil to teach your children to be content with what you have? Let me tell you something to all the Satanists out there who's going to be watching this video, and I hope you do. Answer this one question for me. Do you know the remedy for stealing and robbery? Do you know how to stop robbery and stealing, theft? It is content. People who are content with what they have, they don't go steal other people's belongings. They don't go rob banks. They don't go rob supermarkets. They don't go rob little stores. The reason why you see a bunch of people going to stores with a gun to take money from the owners, it is because they are not content with what they have. So we just prove that Satan indeed is evil, because when God is trying to teach these children to be content with what they have, Satan is like, no. That thing called content, no, despise that. You need to be stealing from God. Did you think about that part? And I'm pretty sure, to all the Satanists out there, I'm pretty sure you've also taught your children that notion or the principle called content. But when God does it, you want to call it what? Tyrannical. No, my friends, no. If you want a remedy for stealing, you have to learn to be content with what you have. Where I grew up, I could have become anything when I get older. I could have become anything, because there's so much time I was like, man, going to school, No food? Could I go and steal somebody's food? Yes, I could have. But no. Why would I do that? Because that's evil. It is not a good thing. It's evil to do such a thing. I wanted to have money. Could I steal money? Could I rob a little market, a merchant? Yes, I could have. But that's evil. Why should I do something like this? No, but I was actually content with what I had. So, to all the Satanists out there who think like her and think that maybe Satan was thinking in his mind, God is a tyrannical God. Did you actually not notice that? Let me actually real quick give you that one thing as well, because you have to see that part. I'm gonna go to Isaiah chapter 14, very quick. Isaiah chapter 14. Let's read that part. Why was Satan cast down from heaven? Verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nation? So Satan is not in the business of doing anything good for you. To all the Satanists out there, Satan is not in the business of doing anything good for you. Don't forget that. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into the heavens, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. So basically, Satan was trying to overthrow God's kingdom, which is not a good thing to do. That's also called stealing from God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the stars of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Satan didn't want to be like God in character, but he wanted to have God's power. Now imagine Satan had God's power. What would happen to us? Now, to spill on this, let me tell you again. When Satan saw that he couldn't deceive people from heaven, let's see what he did. That's what he did. And this is when he got kicked out of heaven. He wasn't coming here to help us. He got kicked out. Verse number 7. And there was a war in heaven. Michael, which is Jesus' name when he goes to battle, and his angel fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angel, and prevailed not. Neither was there a place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out in the earth, and his angel were cast out with him. Now, what happened? When Satan was cast out, guess what happened? He came to the earth. And that's why he said he deceived the whole earth. Why? Because he deceived Adam and Eve. When he deceived Adam and Eve, he deceived the whole earth. And so, in case you didn't understand that, Satan is not there to help you or make your life any better. So, now we just proved that God actually is good and Satan is evil. And this is where I'm gonna stop with that video. So guys, to all the Satanists out there, if you have any more questions, you can put it on the comment section below and let the conversation get started. So don't forget guys, don't forget to like this video, of course. And if you are new to the channel, subscribe to this channel. And you can always put your comment that says I am a new subscriber in the comment section below. Anyway guys, hope to see you guys again. Until then, bye for now.